The Labour leadership contest is approaching a climax, and Jeremy Corbyn, the hard left candidate, looks like he's going to win. With me to discuss the implications for Labour as well as the ruling Conservative Party is Janan Ganesh, our political commentator. First, Labour. What does this mean for the party?
They will have the most extremely left-wing leader in the entire history of the party, so even more left-wing than Michael Foot, who led the party to a pretty spectacular defeat in the early 1980s. And some people expected Labour to go a little bit off the rails after losing power in 2010 and losing again in 2015. Parties often do this. But I can't think of anyone who foresaw someone quite as eccentric as Jeremy Corbyn doing quite as well as he has in recent months.
Now, just to be clear, we haven't seen the result. We've got to wait for that. I mean, is there any chance of a huge upset?
I still find it hard to believe he will win because it's such an extraordinary event in the history of British politics for a major party to be led by someone like Jeremy Corbyn. But absolutely everyone I speak to in the internal Labour Party machine, and these are people who are very good with polling data, many of them privately knew they would lose the general election on May the 7th.
But they didn't tell Ed Miliband.
They didn't tell Ed Miliband. I don't think the leader's office at that time was incredibly receptive to bad news, and so the leader was denied some of this information. But their information about the internal leadership contest is that Jeremy Corbyn is going to win comfortably. He may even win on the first round of voting. In other words, you don't need to count second preferences.
He's that far ahead. And what about legal challenges? I mean, there are some oddballs turning up. I think at one stage a cat was nominated as someone who could vote.
Yeah, all kinds of eccentric new voters are part of this Labour electorate because the voting system has changed. You can pay just £3 and affiliate to the Labour Party and vote in the contest. Someone did register a feline who, I can't remember who the cat voted for, but I think he went for the likely winner, Jeremy Corbyn. So it's a completely different electorate. Jeremy Corbyn will find out on September the 12th whether he wins or not. And at the moment, he is comfortably ahead of the others and a legal challenge wouldn't be successful even if it was launched.
So moving beyond cats to Conservatives, what does this actually mean, if anything, for David Cameron and the ruling party?
Well, a lot of people try and make the case that actually it's a lot trickier for David Cameron than it looks, that David Cameron will find Jeremy Corbyn a very difficult adversary in Parliament because he's never dealt with anyone like that before, that Conservative rebels will feel liberated by the weakness of the opposition to misbehave, and that in the country there'll be an extra parliamentary left in the way there is on the continent. So lots of riots.
Out in the streets.
Yeah, kind of strikes, protests, and really something that could paralyse the country and make life difficult for the government. And I'm not sure any of that's true. I think people are straining to see an advantage to Labour in a Corbyn leadership that really isn't there. I don't think we're a country that does extra parliamentary politics very intensely. There won't be, if there were ever going to be anti-austerity protests of a serious nature, they would have happened over the past 5 years. And I certainly don't believe that if the Conservative Party suffers an internal rebellion over something like Europe, it will be because of Jeremy Corbyn and a very weak Labour opposition. I think the Conservatives do a very good job on their own of messing up their internal relations and experiencing periods of civil war. They do not need any external assistance when it comes to that.
And no chance of kind of the poll tax, for example, back in 1990-ish, well, where the Conservatives appear to have overreached as a ruling party, having won 3 elections in a row under Margaret Thatcher.
I think it's absolutely possible that the Conservatives overreach, but I imagine they would have done that anyway, regardless of who the Labour opposition is. And the advantage of the Tories is that if the opposition is as extreme as it looks like it will be, you really have to overreach dramatically to be further from the centre ground than a Jeremy Corbyn-led Labour Party. So if anything, they have licence to do something as provocative of the poll as the poll tax. Were Labour to be led by someone like Yvette Cooper or Liz Kendall, broadly serious and mainstream, the Tories would be bound in and couldn't take as many risks as I think they now can.
So Janan, you talk to the top people in the Conservative Party and other parties all the time. Just give us a quick, succinct, behind-the-scenes snapshot of what the top Tories are saying as this leadership contest for Labour reaches its climax.
Well, I think they're too busy high-fiving each other to say very much. But when they do say something, it's, well, within a few weeks we will brand him as an extreme candidate, left-wing, agitprop revolutionary. We've done it before to Michael Foot and others, and he'll be toast within a few months, and they won't even have to try very hard. So they're very confident and cannot believe their luck.
Janan Ganesh, thank you so much.